Thank you, Jeremy. What a great game, exciting game, a whole lot of offense on both sides. Really proud of our guys. It's the first time we've had two ranked teams playing against each other at Carolina. Somebody told me since we played Georgia in maybe 2016, and then when you start looking at this game, it's been a real nemesis for us because none of our players on the current team had ever beaten Virginia Tech, and somebody told me, if the stat is right, that we have lost 13 of 16 against them since they came into the ACC, and then last year the 6 overtime game, and the year before that we had a chance to put them away with 4 minutes left, and they beat us with 19 seconds left in Coach Fedora's last year. So the guys are excited. It's fun to win. We saw the offense that we can be today when you can run the ball as well as we did today. We know we can throw it, but anytime you can run the ball that well, they ran it really well, but we ran it better than they did, and that was not anticipated coming into the game. So proud of all the guys on offense that blocked so well for both of our running backs. And then Sam did a good job of being accurate and getting the ball out of his hands quickly and getting it to the right place. So defensively, we were down 3 starters, and then you start looking at Kyler McMichael's in his third game as a starter at corner. He was a special teams guy at Clemson. Cam Kelly played part of one game against Clemson last year. He hadn't played any others, and Patrice Rene the same thing. So we were thin in those areas, and we missed a lot of tackles. We busted some coverages and didn't play very well on defense. We're still not getting turnovers. We had our hands on a ball that was a turnover, and it goes up in the air, and they catch it and run it down to the 20, I think, with a big tight end, number 82. So. And then we were ready for the onside kick. We sat there and said they're going to onside kick, and we just didn't handle it, the first one, and then did a good job handling the second one. So proud of the guys, proud to be 3-0. I thought the crowd helped. There were just a few there, but they were loud. I love the students being back. They did a great job, and the players had a lot of fun. So it's get this one cleaned up. Too many penalties, too many missed tackles. Got ahead and kind of sat there some in the third quarter, but came back and did a great job offensively in the fourth quarter. So we'll get all this, we'll enjoy it tonight. We'll get everything fixed tomorrow and get ready to go to Tallahassee next week.
All right, thanks, Coach. We've got a handful of questions already in the queue, so we will begin with Mike Topper. So, Mike, go ahead.
Thanks, Mark. Hey, Coach. You mentioned the rushing game there. Obviously, Michael Carter and Javonte Williams combined for almost 400 yards, just those two guys. What did you make of Javonte and Michael today? And also, what led you coming into this game to say that you guys needed to pound the ball as much as you did?
First, those are two of the best backs in the country. They've got balance. They're fast. They've got the power and quickness to run inside and the speed to run outside. So they are two of our best weapons, and we know that. And when people have to come in and stack the box, it gives us an opportunity to throw to our fast guys outside. But if they're going to allow us to run it, the receivers were excited about blocking today. The tight end was excited about blocking today, and the players love Michael and Javonte, so they were excited for them. And the offensive line's been beaten up since we've been here. My gosh, they did an absolute great job today.
All right, let's go over to CL Brown. Go ahead.
Yes, Mack, I was wondering, speaking of the offensive line, that was an area of concern coming into the year, but when you see the numbers that you guys put up running today, how much more comfortable are you with feeling like that unit is where you need it to be?
Well, we've still got to gain more depth, but we did have Josh Azudu back today, and he is such a good player, and he's really smart and can play a lot of different places. So he gives us depth just by the fact that he's back. He gives us confidence. So I thought he was a huge lift coming back. And then Jordan Tucker did a good job. But I thought the offensive line had very few penalties. I think they had 2 false starts early because they were probably anxious. But I don't remember a holding penalty. And there was only 1 sack, and I think we held the ball too long or somebody went the wrong way on that 1 sack. Virginia Tech was averaging 6.5 sacks per game. So those guys had an outstanding day. Really proud of them.
As a follow, you guys were the rushing game gained 12.5 yards per rush on first downs alone. How when you're able to gain those big chunks, and I forgot the second part of that stat. I think you were never in a 3rd and 9 or more yards all game. When you're able to have those first down successes running the ball, how does that set up the offense for success?
It gives you a chance to be really good because if you can run it that well, at some point they can do things to take away your running game. And when they do, you've got excellent weapons outside. And Sam was so accurate today. We dropped a couple of passes that we should have caught. That would have been more drives, really. That's unusual that we would drop those passes. But when you can have an offensive pass interference penalty, get backed way up and hand it to Michael Carter and go score the next play, it shows you how fast and how dangerous these two backs are.
All right, let's go over to Bridget Condon. Bridget, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, 101 combined points between you and Virginia Tech. That's the most between any ranked teams in history. Were you guys just kind of putting on a show for the fans and going off of that on the fans? I know you mentioned it a little bit in your opener, but what was it like for, the kids to have all of their parents there and to have that crowd noise?
Well, at one point, I thought we were back in the Big 12 because everybody was scoring every play, and it was crazy. And you're never out of a game when it's like that. So, but it was fun. It was fun for the players, more fun for the offensive players on both teams than it was the defensive players. But I thought the fans got a really good show today. And there'll be some fans that aren't happy with the defense. And what I'm going to tell them is be happy with 3-0. I think that's you can find something to be mad about every week. And people who are angry will find something to be mad about. But if you love your team, be happy they're 3-0 with a lot of things to fix.
Great. Let's move over to Ross Martin. Ross, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, what did you see better out of the connection with Sam Howell and his receivers, particularly the usage of Daz Newsome and the deep ball with Diami Brown?
I thought we did a better job, Ross, of having some quick stuff ready where he could get it to the guys early, and then Virginia Tech had to come up, and then it lets a speedster like Diami go deep. We've got to get the ball more to Daz on even the short stuff because he's such a good runner. And we had a little underneath speed sweep to him today, and we had some flares to him, and then Michael Carter and Javonte are so good outside. But Bo and Diami have the speed, and Bo's got the length that when you have to bring the safeties down and get one-on-one with the corners, it gives you a chance to get the ball to Diami deep. And we haven't been able to do that. We weren't doing anything consistently good enough on offense that it would determine that it would lead to something else. And today we were able to do that. And I thought the offensive coaches did a great job of taking the first 2 weeks and figuring out why we had been inconsistent and getting us back on track.
And then quickly, how much did you miss Ray Vohasek today?
Oh, Ray's one of the best players in the league. He's tough. He's big up front. I thought they blocked us some up front. So we'll have to go back and look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Greg Barnes.
Hey, Mack. The team has won each of these first 3 games kind of in different ways. What does that say about this group that they've learned how to win?
Greg, that's the most important thing. We tell them each week, go through your process, go through your practice routine, understand your culture, the discipline that if you miss a class, that leads to the same undisciplined act that it does if you have a penalty. You either do things right or you don't. Your coaches either trust you or they don't. So we're trying to get our guys to understand, do everything right every day. And when you do that, the objective is just win the game. You know, it's not every, these are kids, and COVID has changed things. I think it's been harder for officials. It's been harder for coaches. We're seeing more upsets. We're seeing some craziness happen in college football. So we've told them, don't worry about anything but winning. And to win this game and be 3-0 is all that we wanted to do, and that's why I'm so excited for them.
That's fact.
Thank you. Again, we probably lost
right.
this game last year at Virginia Tech in a very similar way because last year they dominated the fourth quarter. They had 120 yards rushing. We had 20. So we made 4 out of 10 third downs in the fourth quarter last year. So there were things that we needed to finish strong today that we didn't last year, and we had a big emphasis on that all week, and I thought the guys really stepped up on offense to do that.
Okay, but next up is Brendan Marks.
Hey, Mack, thanks so much. Earlier this week, you had mentioned that these guys had never been in a top 10 game before. They'd never been ranked like this before. What does this sort of say about them? What sort of message does it send within your locker room? And also, what sort of message does it send to the rest of the conference? You mentioned this is the offense that we can be when we're doing everything the right way.
Well, Brendan, number one, we've talked to the guys about we need to buy a house in this neighborhood. We haven't been here much. We've been visiting the first couple of weeks in the top 10, but that's who we want to be. But have we earned it yet? And that's what we talk to them about each week. And playing a top 20 team in Virginia Tech that was dominating their first 2 games while we weren't, gave us a chance to prove that we can be good. And I was so proud that the offense stepped up today and did that. And now we've got to go back and just figure out what went wrong today on defense. And part of it was Virginia Tech playing well. And we knew Hooker would probably come in, and he's an outstanding quarterback, so we thought all that was going to happen, but we weren't sure. And then we thought Patterson might come in, so it was kind of hard to prepare for what we were doing. And then when they got behind, they threw the ball a lot more than they ran it, so we thought that they were going to just try to run it down our throat because that's what they've done the first 2 games. So for another week, like Boston College throwing it 56 times, we were surprised that Virginia Tech would throw it that many times today. But I do think that you've got to quit feeling pressure to be something because you are what you see on film. You are what you do in the game. And we can be perceived as something, but until we're showing it, we're not. And today we were a really good offensive football team, and I thought at times a real poor defensive team in the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, folks. Have a great weekend.